Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim. Welcome to Evening Chat here. I'm sitting down. I don't know, I might stand up. I just thought, I'll sit down tonight. I've been sitting here all day. Let me tell you what's been going on. I made a video going to Walmart, and I made one this morning, I guess, a couple, I forget. I got home, I was talking in the video about how it looked like it's very ominous and it might rain. I had my e-scooter. I was maybe going to go to the beach. I wasn't going to buy anything refrigeration, but if I did, I had a refrigerator in the truck. I come out of the Walmart and I said, I better skedaddle home before this rain comes. I come home, I'm bringing the stuff in, literally drops started coming down and it started raining. Then I was hungry and I bagged up individually all those steaks. I'll show them to you. I got a freezer full of prime. And I'm sure I've invested as much as I would buying, Omaha steaks or any of those online companies that sell these excellent steaks, supposedly. But man, they don't get any better than the ones I've been eating. So that one that was on sale today, the ribeye, I actually have one salting right now. I ate one today. It was amazing. I salted them both. It was 2 hours later and I cooked the one. It stopped raining. I put it on the grill. Literally, the minute it was done, I heard rain hitting the roof. I ran out there. I said, I hope it's done. And I just shut everything off, grabbed that steak, and got in the house because it came like crazy. And it's been raining ever since. And that was, I had breakfast this morning at 6, real early. So I was hungry for my second meal, like 11 or noon, that I made that steak. I was back earlier waiting for the rain to stop, and about 11 or noon I made it. And for whatever reason, I guess because I'm bored in here, couldn't go out and do something and be distracted, I felt like, I'm hungry again, like when I used to eat anything and I wanted to eat every 2 hours out of boredom. So fasting and sitting sedentary or just being sequestered because it's raining would not be a good idea. And I was actually thinking about doing a fast, but no way. So while I was at Walmart today, I spent $250. And that included some new clothes, some new rugs, and a bunch of prime meat, and a whole bunch of toiletries, paper towels, just all kinds of stuff. Deodorant. I got plenty of backup. But what I did forget, that I have a list of a few more things I got to pick up. But take a look at these rugs. I would return them, but I'm not. 2 reasons. They're absolutely nowhere near the quality of these ones I'm going to show you that I bought at Kohl's. They're just nasty now and flattened out. You can tell the weight of them, how much better they are, and when you step on them. These are like stepping on concrete. There's literally they just kind of look like, and I got the wrong color. I was thinking that this is actually green, and these are gray. You ready? Check it out. They're bigger, both ways, width and length, a little bit, than these are, the ones I'm throwing out. Throwing out these old t-shirts too. That's my trash. This is what I'm going to put the sewer pipes in, but I just have that in there right now to throw it to the trash. This was $6, $7 today. I don't know if I'll be able to get my hoses in there or not. If not, I'll keep it. It's good to put something in there and put the lid on it in the storage. So as you can see, these are nice, but they don't match anything. I should have got like this color, right? a neutral to go with the floor and the cabinets and all that. But I was thinking they would actually match the seats, but the dang seats are green. Anyway, what are you going to do? So take a look in here. I got a few hamburger patties. I bought some 80-20 hamburger meat at Aldi, and I already pre-shaped them. All of this right here, just section, that's hamburger. All of these are New York strips, prime. Every one of them. Every one of them. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steaks, a few hamburgers. Here's some of that salmon that I bought a while back. It's pretty good. Frozen salmon patties. In here is the one I'm salting, the ribeye. I bought 2 of those, so I had one today. I got to tell you, there's nothing better than a damn ribeye. And the other ones, I would have bought them. They had there, but it didn't look quite as marbling as the strips did. And there were more of the strips, so I got those. The fans, since I took these to Sudstop Car Wash and I blew them out, I mean, they were a lot of dust, like hung up on the vents, you know. They're like twice as strong now. I'm not kidding you. The wind that blows out of that, I got one there too. Sitting on top of that Blue Eddy. But the clothes that I bought, I've already put them in the dirty clothes. I took the tags off. I wash everything to shrink them to where they'll fit the best. I tried them on first. They fit perfect. Even my new black jeans I bought, some polo. They're not even jeans. They're kind of like just some pants. Pretty nice though. So I'm just sitting here watching movies all day. Let me sit back down. Let me get a water and we'll talk a little bit more. So I should make some boiled eggs. I have a little bit of bacon left and eggs. That's what I forgot to get was some eggs. I need more water too. I forgot to buy eggs. And something else while I was there at Walmart. But I wasn't thinking about food. I was just thinking about those toiletries and stuff. And anyway, this rain is completely, I've never seen rain like this in several weeks. It's all over the southern part of Florida, just coming in off the Gulf of America. It's like boxcar just training in one after the other, and very loud thunder, like almost like bombing, like war. It's just really weird. But I was so bored, I felt like I should go see Fred and Raphael, but I just saw him yesterday, and it was just so nasty out, I didn't want to really drive in it. So I sat here, and I'm trying to surf around the channels. I'm watching YouTube videos, found some Westerns. Today, the Westerns I found were like, I can always tell by the way it looks. If they're wearing a scarf, not just like rolled up tight, sort of like real cowboyish, but if they're like Roy Rogers, I see that, and that's the way they were dressing. Or they got bedazzlers on their holster, like little silver pieces of metal, you know, around their, That's like Roy Rogers' day. It's a little bit too old. It's going back in the 30s or something, 40s. I like them in the 50s and the 60s. And they just seem to be playing a bunch of those. So what did I do? I surfed around, watched a little bit of the news. That was boring. And I watched a story on Michael Savage. It was on Newsmax, of how he was a broke person growing up, wanted to be a nutritionist, not a nutritionist, but he wanted to study plants. And he ended up going to an Ivy League school and he got inducted in the Radio Hall of Fame. Do you know his son owned that Rockstar drink, like Red Bull, sold it to Pepsi for guess how much? Only $4 billion. Yeah. So his son's not hurting. But Michael Savage is 80 years old now. They gave him a show on Newsmax. He's wrote a lot of books. A real conservative, a real American, and Jewish guy. I used to listen to him all the time, but he's yell and scream, and he'd chew people out on the radio. On the phone that would call into the radio station, and so he was interesting. But anyway, I saw that, and basically, I thought to myself, well, should I check in with the community, because we did one last night, and it's getting to be it's 8:30 or whatever. So I said, well, we got to make something. And so I showed you my steaks and told you about the westerns I watched, and we talked about the weather. How interesting. Man, when we get out on the road, there won't have to be any talking. It'll just be plenty of visual. Loves truck stops. Can't wait. Drive everybody nuts. Some people. I did watch. I want to go. I'm not saying I'll go, because I was calculating. Watching on YouTube today, I watched a bunch of videos on the motor I have in my truck. And I'm really lucky to get that truck. Those are very, very hard to find, that 6.8 liter. All the dealers, are trying to get rid of these diesels that cost so much more money. But anyway, the 7.3, the Godzilla family of engines, there's two, a 7.3 and a 6.8. I got the 6.8. It's the same motor, but what they call de-stroked, a little shorter stroke. Otherwise, it's really the same engine. I forgot what, steel block with aluminum heads, all this kind of good stuff about it. Anyway, it should be a really good, reliable motor, but it is a gas hog. So we know what kind of gas we're getting, mileage, and what it will be getting under tow. I already towed with it once cross country. We're talking about, somewhere around $2,500 if I can average fuel at $3.35 a gallon. So if I run into any higher than that fuel, I don't think it's $4 anywhere anymore, is it? Maybe in California, which I'm not going. But anyway, I was watching videos on my truck, and I was like, oh my, that's a lot of money, we got to think about living, paying rent. Still got those bills while you're gone. And then I was watching some videos about Yellowstone. And you remember I went there on my motorcycle, and I went to Old Faithful, and I saw a couple of other geysers and bubbling hot springs, whatever they're called. And there was snow on the road when I went that time of year. Cody was 3 days I spent there because I couldn't travel. They had Yellowstone closed because of the snow. It can snow suddenly there, even in September, later September. So I thought, and so I asked AI, I go, if I leave Florida and I want to go to Moab and Yellowstone, which route should I take and which one should I go to first? And there's no question that you go to Moab first, and then you go to Yellowstone. So I found a couple that have an RV, and I started Googling about RV campgrounds and stuff, and there's only one in all of Yellowstone that has full hookups. The rest they might have sewer, which is important, so you can dump, and water. And I don't need, if they let me run my generator, I got power. But the price, I mean, we're talking, these videos I were watching were, you know, see what it is, Sun Communities and Thousand Trails. These two companies or corporations bought every private campground in America. Pre-pandemic, you could camp for $10, $20, $30. $45 is a lot of money, even for an RV with a full hookup. Now you can spend $50 to start with your fees and taxes. Where was it? Moab has got 14.75% sales tax. Or that's what it is at campgrounds or something. So you see a price. I was watching some videos. They were like 3, 4, 5 years old. So you're probably looking at like $100 a night. Now there was a lot of what do you call that? Boondocking, camping in the area of Moab, and I found it. I left there the next morning, and I ended up staying on the side of the road, kind of surreptitiously, right off Main Street, near a Circle K or whatever. It was open 24 hours a day. And I found a shower at a campground where they let you just pay for a shower. I went every day. No Planet Fitnesses or anything. So when I was thinking about all that, and Canyonlands and Arches National Park, I already saw. And I'd leave the camper somewhere. It could be $100 a night. And then I'd go to Arches and use my pass. I could get in. I got the lifetime senior pass. And I could take some hikes. And I could, in my mind, I'm like, well, I saw that. I said, well, I want to do some off-roading with the truck, like I did the 4Runner. Not Hell's Revenge. But there's an area called Canyonlands. But you got to go down this, it's like the Grand Canyon, sort of. You come way down, and then you're down this canyon, and you ride along this riverbed and through this way. It's like a trail, and it actually ends up back at the downtown area of Moab. So I was saying I'd like to do some off-roading, and not even go in the sand. Even if I deflate the tires, that thing is so heavy it'll sink right in the sand. That is really not anything but to pull a camper on a good firm kind of dirt road or a boat out of the water at low tide. That's what that four-wheel drive, or on a construction site or something. It isn't a Jeep or a 4Runner or something like that. And I wouldn't take a chance to see how much it could do and be 3,000 miles away and then nobody around me either. So then I moved on to Yellowstone and I started thinking, all right, what do I do there? I went through on my motorcycle. I did see Old Faithful and everything, and I learned there's only one RV park with full hookups, and the rest of them they're talking about being outside, maybe like in Cody or Jackson, or there's one that's the very north, and they're talking about the loop. What's it called? Yellowstone Road or something like that. The main loop is a 7-hour drive because you got bison that block the road. You want to stop and look at things, and you got people backed up bumper to bumper. Not as bad as July and August, summer months. September's a little better. However, it can still be crowded. The finale. And then they said, okay, that's a big figure 8 kind of a loop, but then they have a smaller loop at the top and a smaller loop at the bottom. And plan on like 2 to 4 days, which is what I would do anyway, to kind of see all the sights. So then it's like, okay, every day go further than I was the day before, but I got to return 50 miles back or whatever to the RV somewhere. And so I thought about that, and then I was like, well, the money. Don't get the wrong idea. I'll still spend the same money because I'm gonna probably go somewhere that's just as far. But whether or not, and Yellowstone, they don't accept your pass. Maybe the entrance will work, but it doesn't do you any goods at these campgrounds. I saw a video on it, and so I thought, darn, it's like a lot of negatives here, and I said, well, everybody keeps saying go somewhere else, go where you haven't been. Well, there's Colorado. Then there is the Northeast, but it's getting, I don't think September is too bad, is it? And maybe just not necessarily going to Moab, but somewhere in Utah again, or that way, or just camping along the way, just following the front end, seeing the sights, and not necessarily going there, doing something different. Because I actually repeated Laughlin like 3 times. I don't even want to ever go there again in my life. I mean, not that I hate it, but it's just like, it's like watching a movie too soon that's worth watching again. I went 3 times. And going up through Vegas and then getting into Cedar City and that area down through Utah there. I don't need to see that again. The Grand Canyon is something I have seen twice. And the second time I saw it, I made all these excellent videos. And I had this awesome hike that I did. And there was still some ice and snow up there. And I found out that I couldn't put them on YouTube. They've since changed the law, I think. I heard. And that was a really good experience because the first one was just to kind of see it. And then the next one, I actually did what somebody told me one time, to hike down it a ways to get the real feeling of how grand it is. And I did. I went down not all the way to the bottom and not even really that far, but kind of far. And they told me that, just remember though, every step you go down, it takes 2, or it's going to feel like 2, to come back. And it was. But it was fun. I mean, I didn't go all that far, but it was enough to really get what they said. And I would love to do it again with the proper foot attire and carry some water. And there was snow on the ground at the time, some ice up there that I was having to watch out for. I didn't want to slip and fall. I think I was wearing cowboy boots. And the tower at the very end of it, I went, and it was packed. It was like, last time I went, you could just go in there. Now you take a name, and it was so busy. That's the problem with all these places. They're so darn busy. There's so many tourists that go. And I had gone in the peak of the season. It was going to be 2 hours before they called my name to go up this tower, this castle-like thing that's at the Grand Canyon, at the very end of it. But I did do something I didn't do before, and that was, instead of coming back and going out the entrance that I came in and then back down to the 40 near Flagstaff, I went out and down the mountain the other way and came in whatever that was. And it was a beautiful drive. And I had the cramper. So it was kind of like I was just pulling a car by myself. First one was with the 4Runner. And the next one was with the Tundra and the Cramper that I hit it up. And I could park on the side of the road. I could parallel park. That thing was so perfect and small for traveling and having a place to dive in and sleep at night and not worry about anything. I'd have to sleep in your truck. But pulling a 25-foot camper, I mean, when you go up Grand Canyon, you get there and then you go up this road. It's not a problem on that road, but when you go into these little parking areas, because you can't leave your vehicle out on the road, you got to pull into there to where these overlooks are, these views. So unless you drop the camper somewhere, and that would mean, I don't know where the campgrounds are in Grand Canyon up around the, the viewing area. It might be way back, so you can find somewhere down there and again drive back. It's so much easier with the camper or a camper on the back of your truck, or sleeping in one of those vans, one of those Class Bs. Man, there is where I'm seeing that they really can be cool. I mean, really. So I'm just going to have to make sure no low bridges, no tight roads, anywhere I can turn around. I mean, it's going to make me a little bit nervous if I get myself somewhere. I'm not going to take these byways. I'm taking the freeway. I always do that. I did it on my motorcycle. I know you can see America, and there's a lot more, and I'm missing it. I've always missed it. Every time I've traveled across this country, I've been everywhere and seen nothing. I mean, really, I just do. They're talking about this one guy on YouTube tonight. He was talking about him and his family. He had a dual axle camper about this big, pulled it with the same truck I got. That's how I found the channel. He did that 333 a day, 300 miles maximum, stay 3 days, and I don't know, something like that. About 300 miles a day, I'll drive 500 miles a day, minimum. At 300 miles a day to get to Yellowstone or Moab, which is like 2,400 miles, 3 times 8. 8 days? No. I can drive to California in 4 days, 5 days. So driving all day, every day, well, not all day. If you're going to do 300 miles, I guess you wrap it up pretty quick. And, you get somewhere, and if I stay at a Love's, it's going to be too early. If I stay at a campground, I'm paying a lot more camping fees because I'm going like a snail. What do you call, like Bubba said, I'm slow rolling. And if I get a campground, then I get there early enough to set up, put the slides out, hook up power and everything, the water, sewer lines. Then I want to blow out the next morning, and I gave them, hopefully it isn't $100, but that's just more camping fee versus kicking it in a Love's until I get to where I'm going, and then find a campground or somewhere to unhook, take that truck, and then go around, see some stuff, make some videos. So that's what I think I'll do. I'll basically find reasonable but nice camping places once I get to where I'm going. I'll definitely do the Love's, Cracker Barrel, whatever I can find, Walmart. I don't care. Like I say, I'm going to follow the front end and follow the good Lord's direction. And maybe I'll go to somewhere I've never been before and I'll have the time of my life, which really kind of sounds exciting. I'm always bad about doing the familiarity thing, what I've already seen and I know where to go, and it's the unknown that, and so as slow as I go, wherever I go or I don't go, it's not going to matter because it isn't the destination, it's the journey. And to be able to take this good girl with me and to open the door and not see my little storage shed there and jump in the truck and go to the gym and everything, I'll miss it. I'll enjoy it when I get back. But it'll be nice to open the door and hey, look at that. Love's gas pumps. No, I'll find some nice places and maybe have myself a little stream or a river or a lake or a mountain view. There's going to be some mountain views, rocks. But yeah, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna take my gray rugs with me. Well, who was thinking when he bought these? God, I thought they were $14.95, $15 a piece. I got my receipt. They were $23 each. So I've got 50 bucks. But the other ones are just so nasty. I'm so tired of them. They were nice, man. They were plush. I washed them once at the laundromat over here. I'm not gonna keep them. They're gone. These'll, man. I wish they were a different color, but they're big and it's protecting my floor. And when I take this trip, if I happen to come in during inclement weather or whatever happens, and I don't care if I'll change them when I get home. I'll buy some other ones. But it's going to be nice to have the fireplace. Now that runs on electricity, so I'm going to have the generator or a hookup, the fireplace. But I do have the fire pit, the propane fire pit for evening chat, fireside chat. And it's going to be plenty cool at night. That's why I bought those pants today. The only pants I got. Maybe I got some other jeans in there. So yeah, I mean, it's getting down to be crunch time, and I'm going to have to figure this out. Like I say, the first day I know I'm going north. I'm going north to the I-10, and I might go west. Or I might just keep going to Atlanta and go to the 20. And then I might just keep going and go to the 40. And I might just keep going and go on and go on and go on and never go west. Just keep going north. I don't know. So anyway, that's going to wrap it up tonight for evening chat. Just kind of brainstorming. It's time. No more doctors, no more excuses, no more anything. Hook it up, pack it full of freezer full of steaks, hamburger meat, bunch of eggs, some butter. That's all I eat. And go. And just go. And enjoy your life. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to crush it.